feel like you picked a good year. If you're going to go ahead and take take some time off from baseball or retire from baseball or get away, I feel like you picked the right time. But are you missing it now? I mean, are you getting that spring training is around the corner? Are you kind of getting that itch to be out there again and I don't know, get back on the field?
Yeah. I am. I was really looking forward to spring training. I was hoping that by the time spring training came this year, things would be closer to normal and we could get on the field and do things like we normally do, but that's not the case. So very similar situation that we had last year. And I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm going to go to spring training until probably the latter part, to where it's, a little bit safer, a little bit easier to get around, where you can go out and have a meal or something, because I think they're going to be pretty much in a bubble this year. And but once the minor league starts, I'll definitely come over and watch them. But my guess is I'll go for a week or two, and that'll be it. But I do miss it, no question. And this was going to help me transition to, what I plan on doing, and that's just slowing things down a little bit. But once you do it, then you start thinking, well, am I ready to do this again? And I'm still trying to answer that question, but I do miss it.
I don't know if in your free time you've had in San Diego, I'm assuming you're here in San Diego based on the background, if you've had a time to go ahead and visit your old stomping grounds, and that would be Jack Murphy Stadium or Qualcomm Stadium or the Q. But I would think that outside of the great Tony Gwynn, Jerry Coleman, and Ted Leitner, there is literally no human being that's seen more baseball games and spent more time at the Q than you.
Yeah, I never thought about that, but you're right. I've gone by it a couple times on purpose, just going to the airport. And but I was talking to you earlier and telling you that I plan on going by, and that's tomorrow when I'm going to make a visit there. I got to make a trip to the beach, and then I'm going to head south and just drive. Hopefully, I can get in the parking lot. But it's been a long time since I've been there, and I have a lot of great memories. And I'm reminded a lot of those memories. You can't see them, but things in my room. Tony Gwynn, his locker was right beside mine when I was managing. Ken Caminetti, his gloves over there. I get my old locker from the manager's office in my garage. So I have pieces of the ballpark, of the stadium around, but I got to go by because I spent a lot of time there as a player, as a coach, as a manager, and I look forward to seeing it because I know it's not going to be there.
Is there anything that you miss about that place? About the ambiance of the Q? When that place was rocking, and Petco hasn't had a chance to have that feeling yet, and I think they might in maybe this year. But what is it you miss just about the energy that a packed house?
Yeah, Marty, you're right. That place, when we were in the postseason, there was no place louder, and the opposing teams would tell me that it just had an unbelievable sound to it that it really was intimidating. It's as loud as any ballpark I've been to. And so I'm going to miss that. Something I loved about it. Well, first of all, you look at, where it was located. It was so easy to get to. I mean, it was a confluence of 15, 8, 163. You had a trolley. People could tailgate. It was great spending time with them. If I got there early, there'd be fans there waiting on you after the game. I may hang with them. You miss that. I mean, that's a big part of the game. We didn't quite have that in Petco. And something else I really miss there, I love the dugouts. Absolutely loved them. They were level to the playing field. You had no steps, nothing. You just sat in the dugout. You were flat with the field and ran right on the field. And I thought they were the greatest. So you don't see those dugouts anymore. And but again, great memories. Even in the winter, I'd go there to work out. Dick Dent he'd get Goose, myself, Greg Booker, Flam would come down sometimes. Alan Trammell. That's where we worked out 4 times a week, and used to run those stadium steps.
Really,
those ramps were part of our workout, and so I'm gonna miss it.
The acoustics, I guess the acoustics were something else. I mean, it was time, and Petco Park is beautiful, but there was just some sort of charm about about the Murph that I can't quite put into words. It felt like home. It was like home. And you knew
Yeah,
everybody, whether it's the
yeah.
parking
And
attendants
even
or
right, and even when you say the Murph, that's what we
yeah.
knew it as, the Murph. It was, when it switched to Qualcomm, that was kind of weird, but you're right. Acoustics were unbelievable, and really, we thought when we went to Petco it'd be even louder because it was a little bit smaller. But
Yeah.
that just wasn't the case. And but I think when you can put in I can't remember how many people it holds, 65, 70,000.
Like you can get 70,000 in there.
70,000 in there. That's a little bit different too than 40 or 42. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that helped a little bit, but I still remember 98, the waving on the towels and everything, or even going back to 84 when, when we were playing the Cubs in the playoffs. I can promise you that crowd has something to do with this coming back, how they rejuvenated the club, and brought so much energy and passion. And so it definitely helped us come back against the 0-2 deficit. Something else I remember is a young girl that loved her team, that was always up there above that left field wall. Just she loved her boys, she loved baseball, and now look where you're at. And I'm glad that you have followed your passion and you're doing what you love.
Yeah, that's remarkable. And let me show you something that our mutual friend Darren Smith salvaged from me from Qualcomm Stadium. Now you brought that up. I grew up sitting in right field, watching Tony Gwynn, section 51, row 11 or 12, put my feet up, sneaking a couple of ice cold beers. That was my life, and you're talking about memories of 98. Here's the actual sign, but you're talking about 1998. And I'm thinking,
That's awesome.
that's the easy one, right? I'm thinking about Rickey Henderson and when he got hit number 3,000 and when he slid into home plate with a home run, his final game, Tony Gwynn memories. I'm thinking about the palm trees, the palm tree that caught on fire. I'm thinking about the terrible scoreboard. Gosh, I'm thinking about when the Colorado Rockies were new and they put snow out there. Do you remember that snow out in right field?
Yeah, that's Andy Strasburg. Yeah, we had the chicken riding on horses, broke it. It delayed the game in a no-hitter, and Dick Williams was all upset with him. Speaking of Dick Williams, yeah, I had a couple tough times with him. In '84, I thought I made the team coming out of spring training. And opening day, I'm at my locker. My locker's got all my gear in it. They called me in to Dick's office, and I was sent down, and I was crushed. But then, they had just made a trade to get Greg Nettles, which has ended up helping us win the National League championship. So it turned out to be a good deal. But for me, it wasn't such a good deal the first month. I had to go down to AAA.
I want to I don't know if you can appreciate this on screen, and I know you're going to see the cue tomorrow, but you can't see this really, can you? This is Qualcomm Stadium now.
Oh man. Yeah, I know. I know a friend of mine, the writer, Andy Baggerly, about 2 weeks ago, he texted me, he got a couple seats for his in-laws. And I said, well, that's pretty cool. I didn't know they were for sale.
Yeah.
No, I have at least one home run in one of those seats. I got to go back and see what seat it hit. Too late now, though.
All right, then I'm going to put you on the spot. You have a lifetime of memories there, but if you can, give me your top couple memories as a player, as a coach, and of course, as a skipper. That may not be so obvious to the rest of us.
Yeah, as a player that I played with, Tony Gwynn, when I came over in 1983, I'd heard the name, didn't know much about him. And, we became good friends and, just had a chance to play with one of the best hitters ever in the game and just watch him go about his business and how he handled himself and, just how he treated people and made himself available. So, that was special for me. Of course, '84, beating the Cubs, I didn't play a role in that, except being a good cheerleader in the bullpen, pulling for the guys. But that was a big moment. But I'd have to say '98, though, when we, won the pennant and went to the World Series. That place was just rocking. And, but, just the atmosphere, again, that tailgating thing just brings a lot to a game, even like a town like Milwaukee, they're still doing it. And I love it. People come out. It's a it's experience, a big event to them, not just a game itself. So, but I got some pretty cool stuff around here from Qualcomm. I mean, I got some dirt, some things like that.
Dirt? You
So,
took dirt?
dirt. I took some
Dirt.
dirt and put it infield dirt. I have some of that, and my some of my Padres stuff from those years. But like I said, the locker, that's pretty cool. Sitting in, and that was the same locker that Dick Williams used. So that's pretty neat. And but I was sad to see it go. At Petco, it's hard to find a more beautiful park than Petco. But
Yeah.
at the time, it was bittersweet to leave a place that I love, and it was trust me, a lot easier to get to.
Yeah, I'm
But
kind
you
of
know
with
what? I'll just talk. Am I allowed to have a toast to it?
Oh, only if I can have a toast.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's cheers to our times there, because I know you spent a lot of time there. So, yeah. Yeah,
Cheers
but
to the Q and all who played there.
yeah. Yeah. I I remember I was telling you in off season, the Chargers were there, and that was always pretty cool for us to meet the players. And we just lost Marty Schottenheimer, and I had a chance to become friends with him because we were right there. And so because of our time, think of our time together. That was because we shared the same field. And I still remember going out there, and they would run us off the field. We would kick field goals. I can't think of the guy that took care of the field there for the playoffs. What's his name? He would run Goose and I off. We would try to kick 40, 45-yard field goals. But,
who came closer? You or Goose? Who was a better kicker?
We were pretty even. Trammell was probably the best. But the funniest thing is I pulled a groin kicking a field goal. So I was out for about 3 weeks. But
of course you did.
And then, we didn't have a batting cage till later on. Tony had a batting cage put in on the floor just above where our clubhouse was. And then Nevin, those guys would ride their motorcycles right to the clubhouse. I don't know if you remember that. Klesko, Nevin, Lampkin. Yeah, we had quite the group there.
The motorcycle gang. No, the video that I recall most vividly was Ken. They would show, because they would show it on the jumbotron or the video board. It was Ken Caminetti, not wearing too much, all built on his motorcycle, and the fans would go nuts. That's the video that I recall seeing at Qualcomm Stadium.
Yeah, shame on me for forgetting Cammy riding his motorcycle. He's the one that started it. Mm-hmm. He was the leader of the pack, and my first year managing, of course, it was at Qualcomm, and so it's such a special place for me. I kept the last lineup card of at Qualcomm at the Murph, and the first lineup card at Petco, and I put them in a frame. I framed them. I gave them to a good friend of mine, Glenn Doche.
Oh yeah.
Glenn, and but that's how much it meant to me. So I kept those 2 lineup cards.
What else? If you could go back and salvage anything, what would you salvage from that place?
You know what? I got the locker. That was
the locker was the one.
I don't think I wanted the desk. It was pretty ugly. I probably would get a seat. I probably, although I never sat in them, so I don't know why I would want a seat. So I think I did a pretty good job. Tony Patrica, who he helped me with the locker. I'll probably get arrested tomorrow. I think we stole it, but anyway, I got all kinds of stuff still in that locker that was there when we got it. Jerseys and things like that. They're still hanging in the locker.
Did you ever think that they would bring back the brown uniforms? And what do you think about the look the Padres have unveiled? Because from what I recall, the brown, it wasn't popular for quite some time. There were some players that wanted no part of bringing that back. But now, maybe one of the hottest uniforms in baseball.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. We didn't care for them. We were going, these are the most god awful uniforms in baseball. And I came over from the Houston Astros, with that uniform, those
Oh yeah.
rainbows. I had the brown ones. I go, geez, I'm never going to get just a nice looking uniform that's pretty, traditional. But you're right, they're really popular, and it's the style today, really. And I like them. I do, and I have a couple. I'm more than a couple of those old brown uniforms, and so I think it's pretty cool they brought them back. Actually, I think it was Joe McAvane that was behind changing the uniform to blue. And at first, as much as we weren't that big on the yellow socks or the brown unis and things like that, we missed it at first. Wearing a blue uniform, it's like, this isn't us. And but you get used to it. But it's good to see them back.
I'm going to put you on the spot because while I have a future Hall of Fame manager right here in the spot, I mean, the Padres have they've had quite the offseason. There's some buzz with that team. The Dodgers won the World Series. If you're Bruce Bochy, and I'm letting you pick 1 through 3 in this rotation, do you go Kershaw, Buehler, Trevor Bauer, or do you go Blake Snell, Yu Darvish, Nelson Lamet?
Yeah. You know what? And not to be on the fence, but I think they match up so well against each other. I think it's so even. I really do. I don't think you can rate one higher than the other. I think it's an unbelievable job that the Padres have done, with that rotation and in depth. Health would play a role in this, obviously, but
Yeah.
I think they match up with any team in baseball. I mean, you got to go in and face those three, with the Padres are really, they're deep. They're 5 deep, but those three in particular, I mean, that's a task. And same with LA. And so I would give an edge to LA over that rotation. I really wouldn't.
You think pretty evenly matched, huh?
I do. I really believe that. And I mean, that's a lot of talent. I mean, Snell, I mean, you look at his stuff. I mean, we can talk about that last game he pitched and, and of course, second guess or whatever, but I'm just saying the stuff. I mean, that's as good as any stuff in baseball. That was incredible how well he was throwing the ball. So, you're looking at 3 number ones, really.
I've taken up a lot of, I always think about Barry Bonds, and I think about that home run chase towards the end. And I think one of the reporters who was tasked towards covering him, and that was Pedro Gomez, the great Pedro Gomez, who had to be there every single day and ask those questions. What was it like, the dynamic having Pedro Gomez around the Giants and Barry Bonds and that home run chase all those years with the Giants?
Yeah. Well, they couldn't have picked a better guy to follow Barry. I mean, Pedro always had a smile on his face.
Yeah.
Everybody loved Pedro. He just loved the game. He loved life. He was always in a good mood, and he had patience. And there was times when it was tested, as you know. Barry's not the easiest guy to deal with, and trying to get stuff from Barry. It was frustrating for him at times. We spent a lot of time together. We became really good friends, and this really hit home. I mean, this hurt, really did, and this. I mean, I was devastated because he's 58 years old. You think Pedro as a young guy, and which he was, but I'm thankful for our relationship, and a lot of that was because of the job that he had, the role that he had to cover Barry. And but he'd come in my office and just shake his head sometimes, because But again, Barry, he was a little different, and that's what made him so great. He was a better player when he played pissed off, when he played angry, to be honest. And when he tried to be the nice guy, he wouldn't play as well, and it would frustrate him. He says, "I can't play like this," So he that's who he was, and that's what made him have that edge or be that good. But he that last year he wanted to become a better teammate. I think a better person, but I think it's just years of rubbing people maybe the wrong way is what hurt him. And But yeah, a lot of great athletes were like that. Randy Johnson, I had him, and all I heard was how difficult he could be. And he was great. He helped Lincecum. He helped Kane. He
Hmm.
made them better pitchers, and he made them better pitchers by not making them such nice guys. And it was all about winning. And Rickey Henderson,
Hmm.
we had Rickey. You got to see Rickey, meet him. He was great. He was laughing, having fun. But there were times when all you heard, Rickey was difficult. He was hard to handle. Well, I never saw that, but I think later on in their career, they loosen up and I think they want to know, or they think about what they want to be known for, and they become probably better teammates.
But there's been these insane stories about how Rickey Henderson wouldn't know this teammate. His current teammates. He would know Bruce Bochy right now, right? Like he would be like, who's this? Who's this Bruce?
Yeah, you know what? If I was a betting man, I would say I'd put it at 60-40 on whether he'd get it. Yeah, we had a bet one time with Rickey, with a player named Greg Booker. Book.
Oh
He was
yeah.
in the bullpen. So I don't know who was playing catch with Rickey, but he said, Rickey, I'll bet you $100 you can't name your teammate right there. You can't give us his name. And Rickey goes, oh, I know his name. He goes, what's his name? Oh, I know. Rickey was trying to dodge it. And Rickey finally said, oh, B. That's his name. That's all he could remember. His name started with B, but that's who he was. And that's what made him beautiful.
How much of a dent have you put in your wine cellar during COVID not being able
Yeah,
to
I
go?
have pretty good dent. The thing about having that big wine cellar, and I think the Padres were helping me too. They gave me a bunch of great silver oak, and it's and my neighbors, friends, it's like they won't go to a store to get wine anymore. They come by here and not to have a glass, to grab a bottle or two.
Oh yeah.
So,
I'm gonna pull up in my truck. And grab some for my collection. And I'm guessing the Padres gave you all that wine, hoping that you're gonna silver oak to make sure you stay retired.
all right, cheers.
Cheers, Boch.